Thomas Frank is set to join Tottenham Hotspur as our new manager. Thomas Frank wants the job. Brentford are aware of the situation. Ange Postecoglou was sacked a few days ago, said his goodbyes. The players have said their goodbyes as well. And it looks like a new chapter is going to be starting under Thomas Frank. He's also, according to some reports, wants Tottenham to sign Bryan Mbeumo. Now, Manchester United have already agreed terms with him, according to various sources, and he does want to move to Manchester United. Could there be another twist in the towel? We'll have to see in the next few days, but it looks like Thomas Frank is going to be announced very, very soon. Make sure you go down, smash this subscribe button, smash this like button, and let me know your thoughts down below. We're about 500 subscribers away from 56k, and something like 87% of you that have watched the content the last 3 or 4 days are not subscribed. So please hit that subscribe button. And thank you, everyone, for the kind wishes, as it was my birthday on Friday. Now, Romano has come out and said, Tottenham are aware of Thomas Frank's position. He wants the job, and he's keen on becoming the new Spurs coach. Now, I am very, very optimistic about the summer Tottenham could have and going into next season under Thomas Frank. I think he is a brilliant manager who is very, very underrated. There's some people saying, oh, why has he not got to move to a big club before? Well, you know, other teams are going for, you know, a lot more younger man. I mean, Thomas Frank's in his early 50s. He's an experienced manager. He's been around the block a few times. He's only really had his biggest move in his career is actually the Brentford job. Thomas Frank's managerial CV before he got the opportunity to take over Brentford 4 or 5 years ago, his managerial career has only ever been at less, smaller football clubs. Just be brutally honest on it. You know, his managerial role was, he was the Brentford assistant manager. Before that, he was at Bromby. Before that, he was the Denmark under 16, under 17, under 19 manager. Like, if you actually look at his CV, you know, Brentford did take a chance on when they got him. They got him into the Premier League. He got them into the Premier League. You know, he has done an absolutely fantastic job with them. Like, really, really has. Like, I look at what he's done. You know, took over them in 2016, right? 2018, sorry. I mean, look at that. His current deal is till 2027. So they clearly rate him as a manager. He got them into the Premiership. He's made them a stable Premier League club. They've made some fantastic signings under him, you know, with the likes of Bryan Mbeumo, Ivan Toney, you know, Damsberg, Visa. And Visa is one that I really think Tottenham could go out and sign. You know, Visa is 28, 29 years of age, just had an unbelievable Premier League season. He's 28. He's valued roughly at 32 million euros, according to transfermarket.co.uk. The season just gone, he scored 19 league goals in 35 games with 5 assists. Also got a goal in the EFL Cup. You know, really, really strong season he had. And Thomas Frank tactically can play a 3 at the back, can play a 4 at the back, can play a 5 at the back, can play different systems in terms of the way they play. He can play counter-attacking football. In some of the best results he's had, they have played counter-attacking football. You know, if you look back to the 4th of May when they beat Manchester United, which I know isn't exactly that difficult, you know, signings like Kevin Shard, you know, the winger at Brentford, signings like Bryan Mbeumo, Damsgaard, Nordegaard, you know, Van der Berg, you know, and they're so good at their recruitment. Flecken has just joined a team in Germany. So what do? Brentford, they go out there and get Kelleher, who I think should be top. He's that good of a goalkeeper. Like, I genuinely think he is a top goalkeeper. And you look at this, you know, the way they play, their setup off the bench. Rico Henry's a good player, you know, and to get Brentford sitting 8th in the Premier League where they finished is an unbelievable accomplishment. When you look at the amount of money they have to spend, the size of their stadium, the revenue that football club brings in is nothing. They finished 10th, is nothing like what Tottenham have got. We've got a 5 times bigger stadium than them. We've got much more revenue streams coming into the football club. You know, Thomas Frank with a decent budget in this Spurs team who are playing Champions League football next season, I think we should be very, very optimistic about the future of Tottenham under Thomas Frank. And I imagine the club are pushing to sign Thomas Frank. You know, I am very, very, very excited about the future of him at this football club. I think he's going to do some really good things. I think the way that he, his man management seems to be really good. You don't really hear like any bad press about him. The Brentford are aware of him becoming, the leaving the football club. He wants to join and get that next step up. Romano said he wants the job. He's keen on becoming the new manager. So I think this will probably get announced Monday. Good start going into next week. And now the next thing is going to be identifying our transfer targets, because I think, honestly, we are going to be a really, really good side under him. You think of players like Solanke and Brennan Johnson, who weren't exactly managed the best under Ange Postecoglou. You're not going to see Romero and Van de Ven doing 15, 20 sprints a game. You look at the form towards the end of the season, Tottenham, we just completely fell off. To be honest, the entire season, we completely fell off. We should never be losing to Brighton 4-1. We should never be losing to Leicester and having Crystal Palace do the double over us. We should never be in that sort of situation. Finishing 17th, Brentford finished 18 points above us. And there's people out there that aren't very, very happy with Thomas Frank. I'd be over the moon with Frank or Xavi. I think, we can kind of start our new chapter, our new project under him. And I think with some decent recruitment, guys, I honestly believe Tottenham have got real potential. If you look at every other team in the league, Thomas Frank's experience, Man United have got Ruben Amorim, who's, I think he's a good manager. I really, really do. But you look at like everyone else, Liverpool, very, very experienced manager in Arne Slot. The same with Villa of Unai Emery, Eddie Howe. Chelsea have got a young coach who's not got bundles of experience. Arsenal took a massive gamble on Arteta. He didn't have any experience. City, of course, have got Pep. Brighton have got a young manager. So what I'm saying here is we haven't really gone down that route of bringing in a young manager who, is, just coming out of his playing career and taking a gamble, like Brighton have, like Arsenal did, like Chelsea have. I prefer the route of going with a manager who's got a lot of Premier League experience. He's managed well over 100 Premier League games at Brentford, probably more like 200 games. Or I think he's managed 230 games at Brentford. I honestly think him, if we sign Visa, £30 million, Eze, the way Tottenham could set up next season, honestly, Eberechi, Eze, Gahey should be two of the first names on that team sheet going into next season. If we get Eberechi, Eze done, I'll be over the moon. I really, really will. And you think about the, going into next season with a new manager, some new signings, Champions League football. There's no excuse why Tottenham can't go out there and spend £200 million this current, with, of course, sales. You're probably going to get 60 million quid for Romero, right? You get Eze done for 68 million. You bring in Visa. You sell Richarlison to a team out in Saudi who are interested in him, or he goes to La Liga, which would probably suit Richarlison, right? Then you go out there and get Baliba for, say, 50, 60 million quid from Brighton. Then you've got your attacking midfielder in Eze who can rotate with Maddison. You've then got Baliba, who is a very, very good number 6. You bring in Gahey, who's only got 1 year left in his contract. And Tottenham are pretty much there or thereabouts to compete next season for top 4. And this dressing room is coming off the back of winning silverware. So they've got the taste for it now. We are Europa League champions. We're going to be singing all throughout all next season, champions of Europe. We know what we are. So I genuinely think going into next season, a couple of decent signings, and Tottenham are going to be there or thereabouts under Thomas Frank. I really, really do. He ticks all of the boxes for me when it comes to his management, his play style, his tactical knowledge is very good. He can adapt to the team he's playing against. His signings, his track record for signing players is very good. So I think we should be very, very happy about this. Let me know your thoughts down below. Drop a like, hit that subscribe button,